In this lecture, we're going to learn more about single replacement reactions. It turns out that they may not always occur. We need to know when. Turns out if the element is a metal or hydrogen, then it can replace the cation if it's more reactive. When we have a non-metal and it's more reactive than the anion, then a reaction occurs. If we don't have either of those situations, no reaction occurs, and we put NR. In order to decide if it's going to occur, we're going to use the activity series. This is going to be provided on the test. You don't need to worry about memorizing it. You just need to know how to use it. And the way we use it, if the element is higher on the list, then it's going to replace the element below it. So in this case, by element, remember our general formula is A plus BC gives us B plus AC. In this case, the element is A, and the one that we would be considering below, that would be the cation, and that's the B. So let's consider an example. Let's say that zinc is reacting with lead 2 nitrate, and we want to determine if the reaction is going to take place. We would look for the zinc, then we would look for the lead. And since the zinc is higher up than the lead, it would react. And so now we're going to see that the zinc is going to replace, as we learned, and the lead will get bumped out. And we would just finish up the equation as you learned with the reaction types for single replacement. Let's go ahead and practice this. We have a case here with aluminum and copper chloride, and this would be copper 1 chloride. So we want to find the aluminum, and we want to find the copper, and it's much farther down. We have a case of the element. So here's our A plus BC. The element is higher up, and so it's going to replace. The aluminum's going to bump out the copper. We're going to come over here. We're going to have solid copper. And then we're going to have aluminum chloride, and you have to make sure that you balance the equation correctly. That's still going to be aqueous. Then let's finish balancing. We need 3 of the chlorides, which means we're going to have 3 of the copper. So this reaction takes place. Here's another one. We have silver reacting with sodium chloride, or does it? I'd like you to figure this one out and write what you need on the product side, and then pause to do that, and then turn the lecture back on to see how you did. Notice this time we have no reaction, and that's because the silver is way down here on the list, sodium is way up high. In this case, the element was not higher on the list and no reaction occurred. Hopefully you got that. Here's another one. Go ahead and try this zinc with iron 3 nitrate. Pause the lecture and turn it back on to see how you did. This one does react because when we find zinc, it's higher up than the iron. It's not a big difference, but it is higher up. Please notice that we've included all of the states of matter. So the solid zinc is now an aqueous over here, and then the aqueous iron is now a solid iron. And then lastly, make sure that you balance the equation and include all your states of matter. Notice this one, we have a non-metal, and remember when it's a non-metal, we take that general formula, A plus BC, and this time, if it's going to occur, C will get bumped out by itself, and we will have C plus BA. So using the list, the nonmetals are here on the right. You would need to identify if a reaction is going to occur. Take time to do that, pause the lecture, finish this out, put what you need on the right-hand side, make sure everything's all balanced, and turn it back on to see how you did. Welcome back. We saw that chlorine was higher up on the list than the bromine, so it did indeed bump it out, and we end up with bromine by itself on the product side. Hopefully you got the whole idea for this and you will have more time to practice. Let's look at one final practice. Iodine with silver chloride. Pause the lecture, try this on your own, turn it back on to see how you did. And this was our last one. Hopefully you saw no reaction. Iodine was way down there at the bottom, so there was no way it could replace the chlorine. You will have more time to practice with these, this concept of the activity series, but it does make doing single replacement reactions a little more challenging. So be sure you get familiar with using the list.